ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Rob Thompson. Carl Schoening. Halftime.
Halftime. Gather your gear. Get in the locker room. We got something to talk about. We'll get you ready for the next part of your day. But as you head off to lunch to find something fine, we'll give you some kale salad for your ears.
Mm-hmm.
He's Carl Schoening. I'm Rob Thompson. James Budget driving this boat for the next 2 hours. Spurs getting ready to get on the court. I'll be playing about 2 o'clock. We'll get you caught up on all the summer action going on in Las Vegas. NFL is going to get busy tonight. As we head out to Slacker's Sports and Arcade Bar, the Philadelphia Eagles will be on playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Carl, you're a Philly type. Do you have the same hatred for Pittsburgh that you do for the Cowboys?
No, because we never played the Steelers. I think the first 30 years of the NFL's existence, it was known as the Battle for Pennsylvania between the Steelers and the Eagles. Now, it's cool when they play each other, but it makes me think that it could have been a fun rivalry. It just isn't.
Just the lack of conference ties just didn't matter. Then, Cleveland and Cincinnati at least they get to play each other. They get to carry out that anger on a daily basis, on a regular basis. So, yeah, it's going to be on tonight. It'll be interesting to see Jalen Hurts, see what he's got going on and how close Philadelphia is to finally pulling the trigger and trying to get Deshaun Watson. The Spurs have closed down. Most of the contracts are done, aren't they, Carl? There's nobody floating around. There are. There's 2 contracts that still need to be signed. But for the most part, after last night, the deals are all done.
Yeah, Bryn and Jock are probably the last 2 that the Spurs will sign this season, I would imagine, unless there's a big trade that knocks this 17-man roster down to 14, which is possible, but not probable. And yeah, last night was the big Spurs officially traded DeMar and brought on Zach Collins and signed Josh Primo. And even though there's a rookie scale to those picks, there's usually some sort of negotiation on how much the percentage of the rookie scale increases by year, which most everybody, I think it's something like 120% is the standard and the highest. But sometimes you'll see teams try to maybe fight for that 100 or 110% increase.
Josh Primo signed his deal yesterday. He's part of the Life Sports Agency. His agent in particular will be on with Jason Minix at a little after 4 o'clock on the Blitz as he's a brand new Spur with a brand new contract. Now, he signed it here in San Antonio. Do we expect him to fly back to Las Vegas to finish out the Vegas run?
I would almost be surprised if Vassell and Primo played the rest of Vegas. We got to see what they did. They get a little bit of seasoning. Now they come back to San Antonio, get healthy, get right. Training camp's in September. That's next month, right? I have my months down, August and September. So, yeah, we're not far off from training camp when this is usually a July summer league.
Did we get enough of Devin Vassell? Are we comfortable with where he is?
It's not quite the Kawhi Leonard summer league. His second year in the league, obviously, that was pretty crazy, and the Spurs shut him down after 2 games of averaging 26 points. But I thought Vassell looked good, I should say, and his role is still going to be a complementary piece. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start at the 2 because he sort of complements what I would think a DeJounte Murray at the 1 and a Keldon Johnson at the 3 would do, and that leaves some room for Derek White to run the second unit. But Vassell would at least be part of that second unit if he doesn't start.
I hope for a quince. I hope for a coming out. I wanted to see what we did with Kawhi, how that the growth and the maturation of a year, how it showed. And we did for a little bit. So I think that the Spurs are apt to shut things down. I remember the Luka draft. Luka came to the combine, played 1 game, looked good, shut down. It happened quick. Michael Jimenez is going to join us in about 20 minutes. We're going to talk fantasy football. He is one of the fantasy gods, the show that runs on Sundays during all the football season. He, Brandon Medina, and Quinn Hudson this year will get you completely ready for the football season. And Any advice that is required, I'm sure Michael is always ready to offer some, fresh from New Orleans. And we'll look into the quarterback controversy, if there is one in New Orleans, and talk fantasy football. It's always good to catch up. When is y'all's drafts? Do you have one scheduled already? I do.
You do? Wow.
I've got one in 2 weeks.
Do we have a Sports Star, San Antonio Sports Star draft or fantasy
Yes,
league?
we will.
All right.
Yes, we will.
I don't know when that is, though.
In the works, we're going to do our Pro Football Pick'em contest again. It'll be sponsored by Pinkerton's Barbecue. That means our weekly winner for Pro Football Pick'em is going to be walking away with some fine barbecue every week from that beautiful place downtown. So, yeah, we'll do the host of all fantasy football things as the season gets going, as we are of course, your home for the Dallas Cowboys. Tom Pertini's going to be here with us at 1 o'clock. He, the Kins 5 digital guru and the hoster of the Big Fun podcast. He's in Vegas watching what's going on with the Spurs and everybody else. I can't wait to talk to him because he's doing one of those bucket list things that I've always wanted to do. All-day hoops. Carl, that's a dream, right?
I've done it several times, but not the NBA Summer League in Vegas. All-day hoops is pretty common. You've been to AAU tournaments, and I've broadcast AAU tournaments. It's a lot harder as a broadcaster when you have to know every kid on the court, and you're watching 4 games a day, and sometimes it feels like the refs want to be a team involved in the games. I'm sure you've seen those games. But
refs never insert themselves in AAU games, ever. Ask Michael Jimenez. He is a high school basketball ref, so you want to talk reffing with a guy who gets defensive. Michael Jimenez does that as well. But, yeah, Petrini's going to join us. We're looking to look at the Spurs as things get going. The NFL preseason is certainly going to be a high topic of conversation, and also aliens. We're going to talk aliens. There is evidently a move afoot from a lady in Boston, in Britain, to normalize relations between humans and aliens and wants to begin the dating process. So we have that going for us on a Thursday afternoon.
That'll be a fun app.
Which app is that, by the way?
Is it an app? Oh, no kidding.
I just want to, I kind of want to swipe around and see what's there. I'm intrigued.
Those filters where you see like a dinosaur where it's not really there? That's the app.
Except it's real.
I saw it on my phone. It's real. It's right there. There's, in fact, an alien. We'll get into that. But before we do, one of the things we want to make sure you're fairly aware of what's going on in the world. I know you're running out for lunch, and, man, I'll tell you what. One of those big grinder sandwiches sounds good today. One with big crusty bread, a little bit of oil and vinegar on there. But I want an authentic kind of Delaware grinder. All the good meats. Yeah, that got me really hungry. In the meantime, Carl has stacked them. We might as well talk about them. It's time for Carl's Countdown.
All right, boxing to start off Carl's Countdown. Headline 2. WPA is suspending Judge Gloria Martinez Rizzo after a controversial scorecard and the discovery of racist tweets. So, Rob, James, do we need to start going through every boxing judge and make sure that their social medias are clean? Or is that something we do after they have a controversial?
Why don't we just get rid of the judges?
Absolutely. I am for that.
That is the one leftover from bygone sports era that's got to go. There has got to be a way to score a fight appropriately. How many fights have we seen where there is one harebrained card? If it's a big fight, there's always one who was looking through, I don't know, a fishbowl. What exactly were these people? And I'm sure her scorecards have been more than once considered stupid. There's got to be a way, right? There's science. We sent a man to the moon.
I mean, I figure they're just watching a different fight on their phone via an app. That's why they get the weird score.
Well, we've got the Cyclops in tennis. We can tell when a ball's out. We got all the cameras that are now being used in AAA, right, or AA, where they've got the
strike zone,
the eye for the strike zone. We can pretty much 3D anything on my on my phone. I can pretty much. Why can't we figure out a way to score a boxing match?
Leave it up to the computers. That's what I usually say.
That's going to be our downfall, but it's going to be my saving grace. I'm going to live longer, but at the end, it's going to kill me.
All right.
You put all robots on a cord.
Skynet's going live.
We're not too far away from that future. Headline 1. The United States men's national team for soccer, as well as the Mexican soccer team in the FIFA World Rankings, are in the top 10 after their Gold Cup success. Do we start to see the men's United States football team come back into it?
All I can think of when I hear this is Taylor Twellman, my favorite soccer analyst with the finest name. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's remarkable how they rocketed back up the rankings after a successful CONCACAF run. That's where we belong. There's no reason why men's soccer can't be competitive. I don't expect to win the thing, but we shouldn't be a damn disgrace.
It's perfectly said. We shouldn't be a damn disgrace.
I mean,
there's nothing to add to that.
Moving right along,
yeah.
even though now women are being paid the way they should, equal to the men, and probably more.
And I guess that's how it's going to have to be. If we're top 10, we better make sure that we're at least not a damn disgrace. All righty. And headline 0. This one was a fun one, and I have a lot. I could actually read the tweets.
We lost to Curacao. We lost to a drink.
A blue liqueur.
We lost to a blue liqueur. What are we doing?
Well, I guess we'll see how things work out. We're only a couple years away from the next World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. And it's in Qatar? Yeah, that'll be fun. All righty. Headline 0. This one gets a little ugly. Conor McGregor targets, quote, drunk, quote, fat mess Daniel Cormier in since deleted tweets questioning his professionalism as a media member. And I do have these since deleted tweets pulled up. I'm not going to do it in my Irish accent, but it's pretty ugly.
For journalistic integrity.
Twitter doesn't have an Irish accent. You just have to use your
But
imagination.
you do.
No, I don't.
Yes,
actually.
you do.
Oh, no, trust me. Y'all don't want that. But
okay.
Yeah, we
Carl,
do.
Are you a contact sports kind of guy? You a combat sport guy? UFC?
So I don't know UFC or boxing well enough to talk about it in depth, but I enjoy watching it.
Right. I think that's the most of the viewing public. I found it interesting the other day on R&R in the morning with Rudy J that he said he had started to watch more UFC because of the fights that he wanted to see just aren't happening or always don't ever live up to the bill. I do know this. I'm a passive viewer, though I'm an osmotic UFC fan. I've learned a lot from what I do. McGregor's done, man. That goose is cooked. He is trying to keep his name in the game. UFC, they eat their young. It's amazing that he's lasted as long as he has. But the last few fights I've seen have been monster debacles. Is he still a name that's going to draw some money? Absolutely, he is. But as far as an importance to the game, I don't think he's going to hang around like Pacquiao and be the guy that comes and goes for any while longer. That's a flame that burned awfully hot. I think he's just trying to keep his nose in the business just in case.
You want to know how bad it's gotten for Conor McGregor? And I'm actually intrigued by his upcoming fight. Conor McGregor is planning a wheelchair fight with Al Foran that was scheduled for September 11th originally, but is now moving back to October, November, December area. A wheelchair fight.
Who's the dude? Who's he got to fight?
Al Foran.
Just a guy, another guy in a wheelchair.
I guess.
That's not a notable like YouTuber or anything like that. Well,
it's a boxing wheelchair fight.
Well, that proved my point. He sold his beer. Wow. He sold his shares in that perfect proper 12.
Proper number 12.
And made nearly $100 million. He's set up, but the fact is, as far as the importance in the fight game, he's just going to be sniping from the outside.
Still gonna watch that fight though.
Oh, of course.
Is that on pay-per-view?
I don't care where it is. Conor McGregor fighting someone in a wheelchair. I'm in.
And that's the problem with UFC is that these guys' careers are so short that they can't become faces of UFC. But if they do become a face of UFC and they can't continue to be at the top of that game, they have to find something else to do, like boxing Floyd Mayweather.
Yes, that's exactly it. And Mayweather is the same thing in boxing. If you can't box anymore or can't live up to what you were, find spectacles. Don't find matches. Go find a spectacle and get paid. And that's what Conor is doing now. He'll just have spectacle after spectacle, and I'll pay for it. It's worth watching.
Floyd's more likely to box me than Manny Pacquiao. My opinion.
Well, I think he's getting closer to boxing Pacquiao.
I don't want to box Floyd Mayweather, by the
10
way.
years.
That man will hit me.
Give it
10
another
years from
10
now.
years, exactly.
Yeah,
when
10 years,
Tom
we'll
Brady
see that
finally
now.
retires.
All righty. Those are the headlines in Carl's Countdown.
You know, the story coming out of Europe over the last several days, and I don't think we've grasped the gravity of Lionel Messi jumping from one team to another, and the fandom that follows, the money that's involved, and everything that goes into signing one of those faces that's much bigger than just the sport. He is literally worldwide in every facet. The way they get paid, I have found to be very interesting. This morning, Carl, you offered the way that Lionel Messi had signed a contract that also involves some crypto that's becoming more and more common in the sports world, though this version of crypto I'm new to. I don't understand this at all.
Yeah, and I found out about it this morning. It's called fan tokens. It's a type of cryptocurrency that allows holders to vote on mostly minor decisions related to their clubs. And other clubs have adopted this, not just PSG, the Premier League champions, Manchester City, AC Milan from Italy, and Messi's former club, Barcelona. They're just a way for clubs to find new revenue, and they provide tokens to all kinds of clubs. You can buy them on most trading apps, as far as I understand it, for cryptocurrency. So it's just like an investment, if you will. So there's a chance that you could invest in these team crypto coins and then you lose some money. And I guess if you gain money, you have to report that on your taxes. It's just the same.
My guess is you're losing money.
Yeah, my guess is when you're dealing in that kind of, you can afford to lose a little bit. I appreciate that this is part of the gig, but I get the feeling that we're going to see more and more of these crypto deals as a way to funnel cash to people that in a way that can't be traced.
Well, Spencer Dinwiddie, when he signed his last contract with the Nets, really tried to get it to be mostly cryptocurrency, in which if he had gotten whatever that is, multiple millions in Bitcoin 3 years ago, that would have skyrocketed to several million more. So the NBA said that was not within their actual possibility of CBA, what have you. But I can see this becoming more and more common in sports, where maybe it's give me stock of your major sponsor or something along those lines that will, along the cryptocurrency lines, that will sort of be part of contract negotiations. Who's willing to give more in these digital assets?
That's an interesting way to negotiate your contract. Now, the digital tokens themselves, if I own them, what do I get for them? What if I have a digital token, how does value increase?
You're not technically an owner of the club, but I guess you're a paying member of a fan club, so to say. And just like anything else, if it's trending upwards, the value goes up. There's more people buying it. So when Messi was rumored to be with PSG, a lot of people bought the PSG cryptocurrency, and then it went up even more. And apparently sort of a signing bonus, a welcome pack, if you will, for Messi was around 35 million euros for Messi in this cryptocurrency. So should he decide to sell it, I guess that's his prerogative. But if it goes up while he's holding it, then maybe by the end of his time in PSG, if he makes him even more money because more people are buying these cryptocurrencies through PSG, then that 35 million becomes 70, 80 million maybe.
But that's not the bulk of the contract.
No, this
is a percentage.
This is like a signing bonus.
Okay, there we go. Play money. It's not the bulk of there's not 35 million in crypto. It's just part of it in this. Because either you're all in, are you the egg or the bacon on this breakfast? Are you all in? Are you the pig? I mean, you're completely committed. Are you the egg or the chicken? Yeah, here's the egg. I'm kind of in. I mean, is it his whole pay? It's just a percentage, right?
It is just the signing bonus. He'll actually get hard tender that gets paid weekly from the team.
When does the Liga Serie A begin? When do they begin playing? Because I saw him already talking about, I'm going to need a little bit of preseason to get busy with this thing. So are they getting ready to get into conference play? As everybody Googles and searches, I get the feeling that this must be just around the corner because he's already talking about training camp. And as we talk training camp, the Dallas Cowboys have broken their camp. They are headed to Arizona to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, you can catch it right here on San Antonio Sports Star. We'll get you going tomorrow night at 8 with your pregame and all the folks from DallasCowboys.com and get you going directly into the game at 9 o'clock where the kick will be right here on the San Antonio Sports Star as we are the home for your Dallas Cowboys. As they do go, news breaks yesterday that Dak Prescott was having another MRI on his shoulder, not another, but having an MRI on the shoulder to see if he could come back. Though we were told yesterday that he threw in practice in some of those mojo drills that we've seen on Hard Knocks, where they put in down and distance positions, these game type situations. So I guess that's a little bit of good news. Carl, as everybody keeps saying, it's okay, it's nothing to see here, all is good. And what I saw yesterday in Hard Knocks, and certainly you can form your own themes by the way you cut the tape. But I think that the Cowboys are going to just have to hide Dak's helmet and just tell him, dude, you are shut down. The fact is you will not play in the preseason, whether you think you need it or not. If you're Mike McCarthy, would you do that? Do you feel like he needs the time?
Absolutely. It's cost benefit analysis. So why would you risk your guy that you just signed to the largest signing bonus in NFL history for a meaningless football game? Make it week 1. And here's the thing. Dak had football taken away from him week 5 last year. You can tell by watching that Hard Knocks episode, he is itching to play some football. He wants to get back out on the field, prove he's worth this contract, and he's not being allowed to. And I understand that because he is too much of an investment from the Dallas Cowboys to just potentially burn by bringing back 2 weeks early.
That's a big bite of apple. You said it. He's been out since week 5 of last year. He'll get 0 preseason. We hope to see some proof over the next 2 games that this offensive line is intact and ready to go. But to start game 1 against 11 returning starters on that Tampa Bay defense after missing that entire year and in an offense that, quite frankly, sputtered last year without him, without all the pieces, I think that's a big ask for him. Maybe you get a quarterback ready over the next month and try for a win and keep your stud healthy for week 2. No?
It's a fluid situation. I wouldn't be surprised if he's week to week and he maybe gets his reps in week 4 or preseason game 4, I should say. We'll have to see. Yeah. We're going to be talking this to death probably, but it is the big story for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's health yet again.
Tomorrow night when they do visit Arizona, we do expect to see a little bit more Zeke and a little bit more of that offensive line. At least we are hoping to. Would you play Zeke at all? Is that a guy that you just kind of wrap up with the expectation that there is no need to risk it? Or are you a believer of getting a little bit of rust knocked off because he didn't have a very good year? Is he ready for that kind of contact?
Yeah, he's eager to prove himself too, obviously having his worst year as a professional last year. Give him a series. Give him 1 series this first preseason game. He didn't play at all against Green Bay, or Steelers, rather.
No, and the expectation is that he'll probably get a few carries. I'm of the mind, bubble him up, man. Bubble, if they matter, why play them? College teams manage to get it done. If it matters, why play them? If we've already got one team calling camp, and for all intents, got another team calling camp, heading back home in the Cowboys. They got 4 games left. The Cowboys have really 2 meaningful ones. I think this game is going to be awfully important to those starters. And the next game, we'll see our 2s. And in the last game, it is all a battle for 3 and 4 and who's going to be on the bomb squad. So Friday night, while it's going to be a late kick, it's going to mean a lot to the Cowboys season. And it will be the time that we see that offense finally get a little implementation. It'll be more than just a couple of backup quarterbacks not running for their lives. These next 2 games are going to be huge. And we haven't even dove into what the Cardinals have done in the offseason. They're going to come into the game favored. I know it's preseason, but there's a lot to bring there. They will test that Cowboys defense as we get closer and closer to the game. We talk football all week long. We also host fantasy football tournaments and shows. It's called the Fantasy Gods. It'll be on Sunday during the football season all year long with Brandon Medina, Quinn Hudson, and your host, Michael Jimenez, who will be coming up next. We're talking fantasy football with a fantasy god himself. Hold on tight. It's halftime, and you're on San Antonio Sports Bar, 1250 ESPN and 94.5 FM.
It's that time. Buses, school zone, study hall, and the classroom. It's back to school. And to make it special, you have the chance to win $1,000 in San Antonio Sports Stars back to school giveaway. $500 for you and $500 to donate to your school. Register now at sasportstar.com. Powered by Aguero's Automotive Paint and Supplies. Good luck from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Did you know there's dust floating around your home?
Really?
Yeah. Dust starts on hard surfaces like shelves and ceiling fans. And when you walk by, dust starts to move, compromising the quality of the air you and your family breathe.
So what do I do?
Get Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster. Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster is the fast and easy way to trap and lock dust.
Before it gets into the air.
Exactly. So you can just... Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster, proud partner of the American Lung Association.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
O'Reilly! O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstar batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
When my husband started having trouble in the bedroom, I thought, is it me?
But then we found forhims.com, and now our sex life is
better than ever.
Forhims.com connects you to doctors online who can prescribe FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. Then, Hims ships right to your door in discreet packaging. Just go to forhims.com/better to get your first visit free.
It was great to get what I need online without scheduling an appointment or going into the doctor's office.
Hims offers the same active ingredient as name brands and costs 90% less.
I couldn't believe how fast, easy, and inexpensive it was.
Rise to the occasion or get your money back. Go to forhims.com/better to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to forhims.com/better. forhims.com/better.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Drawing up the game plan for the second half of the day. It's halftime with Rob Thompson and Carl Schoening on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I'm going to raise my chair. I'm a little low on the SA Sports Star broadcast.
Should have played Fat Joe's lean back for you.
I could lean back. As I'm broadcasting live from the playpen up on Thompson Hill, I am socially distanced. And that's sad news as we'd like to welcome people onto the halftime because today's a big day. Tonight is our launch party out at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. It's going to get going about 4 o'clock. The party will be going all evening long. Of course, my co-host with the mostest, Rudy J, is going to be out there. Carl, my guy, going to be out there having fun. We got teams, Olympiad going on. James going to be kicking ass later on. Pledge will be out there as well, and I won't. I've been contact traced, and now another person who was contact traced with me tested positive. I have 0 symptoms. I have been vaccinated. I sit here comfortable. I'm not concerned, but I am concerned for other folks. So I'm not going to go out and possibly infect other folks. So I'll be sitting at home. So we still want everybody to go out. I'm not sure that maybe me not going will draw crowds even bigger. So I won't be there. You're safe. Go on out and have a good time. And let's talk some fantasy football with one of the best, our Rock the Mic champ, our fantasy god. His name is Mike Jimenez. We'd like to welcome him on the show. Welcome aboard, man. How's your day going?
Oh, my day is going very well, man. I'm excited. 28 days to the start of the NFL season.
Have you had a draft yet?
I haven't, and I'm a little bit worried, man, because I'm looking at the number of leagues that I'm in, and I've counted 5 so far, and that's usually one of my commandments of fantasy football, to never do more than 4, but right now I'm stuck at 5.
You know, it's going to be a difficult year because I do feel like I'll be drafting later than normal, and I'm probably going to be drafting with only 1, maybe 2 games have been played. So this year, more than most, I'm really relying on last year's predictions. You know, I'm not going to get any video proof or to help me decide. So as we come into this, there's always the usual suspects, but who is the new group of guys that people are going to be looking at in the top 10 at the skill positions?
At the skill position, if Joe Mixon hadn't been picked in the top 10 in prior years, more than likely he'd be one of those players this year. When you take a look at running backs, there's really only about 12 that are projected to have 1,000 yards or more in rushing. A lot of these teams are going to, running back by committee type of offenses. So I look at players like Joe Mixon as somebody, Antonio Gibson, who had a really good year last year, kind of came out of nowhere last year. That was one that Brandon Medina and I on the Fantasy Gods were really, really high on. And I want
you to do me a favor, Michael. Yeah. I want you to do me a favor, because one of the things that kills fantasy football to people that aren't playing is when you mention players. Whenever I want to rule that whenever you mention a player, I want you to say the team that they're on.
Oh, okay.
For everybody that's like, oh, yeah. Well, I might not be a fantasy football player, but I'm certainly happy to know that Antonio Gibson's expected to play well.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson, Washington football team.
There we go.
Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals. So it's one thing I will say, though, when it comes to fantasy football, first and foremost, and I talk about this with Brandon all the time, the first commandment of fantasy football is know how your league is scored. Is it a PPR league? Is it a standard league? Is it a half PPR? And really, you have to tailor your draft to that. And
in your opinion, before we go any further, Michael, do you have a preference for your own personal play?
I like doing a half PPR league. And those do exist, where it's kind of a hybrid of the two, where you do reward players for getting receptions, but at the same time, I think that 1 point for a reception, especially if it's a reception that was for no yard, that should not be rewarded with points. So I think a half PPR league is pretty good.
And any more info, make sure you call the Fantasy Gods on Sunday. Now the Sunday Sports Grill, but it'll be flipping, and they're going to focus on football. Call them. Michael and Quinn and Brandon will explain all those leagues to you as we get closer and closer. Continue. My God.
Oh, man. So you know how your team is, how it is, and then also understand that do not overvalue your favorite players. And I'm looking at you, Cowboy fans. Taking a look at like Amari Cooper.
Hard Knocks is hard to turn away from, man.
Oh,
Hard
I
Knocks
know.
Have me drafting awfully high. Pretty high on this Blake Jarwin kid. I'm thinking second round.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And these are good players. It's not that I don't want them on my team or that they shouldn't be drafted. It's just I go into these fantasy drafts and I'm like, why are they being drafted so high in comparison to other players that are on the board? And that's one of the things. And I am most fascinated this year, by the way, with, the new faces at new places type of thing, Matthew Stafford. I'm interested to see how he does this year. Sam Darnold with the Panthers is also, we're going to find out, is he an actual good quarterback or not? And then I'm also looking forward to seeing how players are coming off of injury. Normally, I stay away from running backs who are coming back from injury. I know last year I stayed away from Saquon Barkley because I don't like players coming back, especially if they're running back. But it's going to be hard this year because Christian McCaffrey is one of those players. So it's going to be fun times, man. And so you can listen to the fantasy gods, and we'll kind of walk you through the process of a snake draft and also auction league, because I'm into auction league this year. That's a completely different animal.
Auctions are the only way to go, in my opinion. Michael Jimenez of the Fantasy Gods joining us here on Halftime. As we get closer to the season and we start, working our plan for the draft, in your hierarchy, how do you draft? Are you chasing best player available, or you go by position by round? Do you feel like you have to get a running back early, or can you wait? Do you feel like you have to get the best wide receiver early, or can you wait? How do you draft?
I would say that if I'm one of the top 7 to pick, I'm going to pick a running back first. If I am, and it also depends on the number of teams that are in the league. Is it a 10-team league or a 12-team league? If it's a 10-team league, you can take a little bit more risk. But if it's more than that, if it's 12 or plus, you have to go running back the first couple of rounds. Because when it comes to quarterbacks, man, there's very little difference between the 4th-ranked quarterback and the 10th-ranked quarterback. You don't want to go beyond 10. But there's really very little difference in this. So I would typically go running back, receiver, tight end, quarterback is my normal structure. But some
running backs.
Go ahead.
No, I'm curious because you said something that I didn't expect you to say. I had figured over the last several years that you just mentioned it. There's only 10 backs in the league that they're expecting to get over 1,000 yards. This is a 17-game season.
Right.
So the idea of the importance of running backs seems to have decreased to the point that while lots of wide receivers are good, those very few that are great, those ones that get the targets on 8-9 targets a game, aren't those now the most valuable player in fantasy football, or is it still the 75 and 75-yard receiving and rushing running back?
I would still say the running back, okay, because I would much rather have the 10th best running back in the fantasy league compared to the 2nd best receiver. Okay. Also understand if it's PPR though, that changes things up a little bit because, all of a sudden players like Austin Eckler become, studs in fantasy football. Keenan Allen becomes a stud. Dalvin Cook. A lot of these, obviously Christian McCaffrey. I would say that if you have a well-rounded player, because if you pick a running back who gets receptions, he is both, in my eyes, a running back and a quasi-receiver at the same time. Christian McCaffrey is expected to have, if he's healthy, to have 100 receptions. That's like a receiver. That's like drafting both, right? Dalvin Cook might have 55 receptions. So that's what I would focus on.
Any rookies you're looking for, running or receiving, that you would get high? Najee Harris, does he come to mind?
Yeah, Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, that's going to be one to look at as well because that's somebody who's going to be a starter, right? And so that's interesting. We saw last year rookie quarterbacks do well, and so are we going to look at Trevor Lawrence as somebody to look at? That's going to be fantastic. I would take a fly on him in later rounds, and that Brandon and I always say this, by the way, you can't really mess up the first 3 rounds. It's very difficult to mess up the first 3 rounds, but the championships are won in rounds 4 through 8. Who are you picking there? And when I take a look at it, I like to have volume. I like to have players who are going to get lots of receptions. I want them to have the ball in their hands more often, even if they have fewer yards per catch or things like that. Just the fact that they have the ball in their hands is a big, big deal for me. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm also taking a look at COVID as a
absolutely
thing. Cole Beasley. I mean, he's a great third receiver, but do I want him on my team knowing that he might get sick? That's something that I cannot believe I'm having to pay attention to this year.
The changes in fantasy football. He is Michael Jimenez, Rock the Mic champ, host of the Fantasy Guys that'll get going when the season does begin. But you can check him Sunday, Ian Quinn Hudson, on the Sunday Sports Grill. Though this weekend will not be around as he sends his girl off to LSU.
That's right. Everyone keeps telling me I'm going to be crying. I mean, Jason Mitz called me 20 minutes ago saying I was going to cry. And everyone's preparing me for this.
Not having said goodbye to a girl, I don't know what it was like. I can tell you there are many benefits to a little bit more space in the house. It's not as bad as people will tell you.
My younger daughter's eyeballing her room already, saying,
Yeah.
You know, when you come back, this won't be here. You know, we're changing rooms.
Yeah, the coop and the nest just got a little bit bigger for all that are still around. It's not necessarily awful. Michael Jimenez, take care of yourself. We'll check him out next week as we move closer and closer to fantasy football season. All the advice you could possibly need, you can find there on the Fantasy Gods on Sunday afternoon. Coming back, Zach Lowe, a Zach slap. We got it yesterday regarding Ben Simmons. Let's get the status of the Simmons trade. Is it still on or off? Don't forget Tom Petrini of Kens 5 Digital. He's in Vegas covering the Summer League. We'll get caught up with all that he has seen just about 30 minutes from now. Hold on tight. It is halftime. Oh, by the way, I want to tease this. When we come back, let's give away some tickets to the Hunters Extravaganza. All you hunters, all you guys looking for something to do this on the 20th through the 22nd down to Joe Freeman. Hunting season is almost here, and I got some tickets for you. We'll give them away next here on Halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Saturday Morning Hangover. Saturdays 9 till 11 with James Pledger and Jack Thompson. Roll out of the sack as the guys recap the weekend sports and deliver in-depth takes on the weekend's upcoming action. On San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Growing up, the Spurs have always been the level of which you should measure, greatness as far as, since I've been on this earth.
That was 23-year-old and newest Spurs free agent signing Zach Collins on his thoughts of San Antonio after signing with the Spurs. The Spurs made a couple of reported deals official last night. The sign-in trade sending DeMar DeRozan to Chicago in exchange for Thaddeus Young, Al-Farouq Aminu, the Lakers' 2022 second-round pick, and the Bulls' 2025 first and second-round pick. Then shortly after that deal, the Spurs officially announced signings of Zach Collins and 12th overall pick Josh Primo. The Summer Spurs are back in action today at 2 p.m. on ESPNU as they take on the Summer Hornets following a day off in Vegas. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
Parents, do you want your child's shoes to fit perfectly? Then you need to get your kids Skechers Stretch Fit shoes, because Skechers Stretch Fit shoes are so comfortable and so stretchy, they easily slip on and fit almost like a sock. Your child is constantly moving and constantly growing, so they need a shoe that moves with them. And Skechers Stretch Fit's soft, stretchable material contours to their busy feet. It's a perfect fit. And not only do they fit like a dream, they perform like one too. Skechers Stretch Fit keeps your child's feet comfortable all day long. With Skechers' exclusive air-cooled memory foam and a breathable Stretch Fit knit, your child will be cool and comfy whether playing, studying, or just hanging out. Plus, you'll love just how durable they are. Stretch Fit is designed to take everything your child can throw at them, and if they get dirty, just pop them in the washing machine. It's that easy. Give your kids perfect comfort that adjusts to them with Skechers Stretch Fit shoes. Find them at a Skechers store near you, Skechers.com, or wherever kids' shoes are sold.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. It's hot outside, and you know what that means. It's grilling season. Our slow-crafted smoked sausage has been made the same way for over 70 years. Pick up your favorite flavor from a store near you and throw some on the grill this weekend. I guarantee it'll be the best sausage you ever had, or I'll give you your money back. Find Kielbasa sausage at a store near you.
Don't get caught in this San Antonio heat with no AC. Save Service First AC Repair in your phone and have an AC tech on speed dial 24/7. 521-1500. For a limited time, save Service First AC Repair in your contacts and get half off your service call and a free summer tune-up. For more details, call 521-1500. That's 521-1500. Service First AC Repair and Plumbing.
Have Service First in your phone. 521-1500.
License number TACLA 27100C.
Texas Rangers baseball.
Leo 1. Joey looks to bunt toward third. Nobody there. Base hit, Joey Gallo.
Texas Rangers baseball happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Rudy J on your home for Texas Rangers baseball. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime. Well, thank Mike Jimenez for stopping by. He's Carl Schoening. I'm Rob Thompson. We're taking you through the middays. What'd you get for lunch? I want one of those big Delaware grinders. Oil and vinegar, salt and pepper, wrapped in brown paper. Sounds good. Carl, you hungry?
My girlfriend made a very good vegan chili. So that's what I had. I had the leftovers for the chili.
Oh.
So what has it got, like a bunch of cauliflower in it?
Oh, I didn't make it. I don't know what's in it. It's just a chili.
Oh.
It had some beans in it. I think
Is
it
it
had
red?
carrots.
It had carrots. I wish you... I'm glad you're doing this.
I'm not.
No, he'll live longer than I ever will. That's just hard.
I don't want to live long. I want to live good.
You know, last night we didn't get a Spurs game. It was kind of a chance to either watch the rest of the league or kind of dive back into your streaming services. There's a new stream out that I guess dropped a day or two ago, the Malice in the Palace doc.
Ooh, I need to see that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be prescribed viewing over the weekend for me. But I'm going to go ahead and tell this story. So I've downloaded the Peacock streaming service for the Olympics. Bought it, and Peacock's great. It's got all kinds of stuff in there, and I've discovered the long form versions of The Office from deleted scenes, like the super fans. Love it. Really good. So last night I was watching a couple of them. It's like watching The Office all over again. For those of us that are like longtime fans, it's pretty cool because it's not the same episodes. But I went to bed and I wanted to watch the same things in bed, but I hadn't downloaded the Peacock app onto my Fire Stick in the bedroom. And I went to download it, and it said, downloaded. You own it. Congratulations, you already own it. It'll download. So download, but then you got to access it. So the app downloaded. And he got there, and as soon as it pops up on the page, it says, too much typing, activate on your phone. Go to peacock.com/TV, yada, yada, yada. So that's going to be a whole lot easier. My wife and I are sitting in the bed. Lovely evening, getting ready to watch some more Office. If you're old and you don't have your readers, your specs, and you go to type in the word Peacock TV, you got to make sure you spell check that. Sometimes we get mad at our office firewalls because we can't go there. I went a place I wish I hadn't been. Yikes. I think they need to alter their I don't know, man.
And you said this was in the bedroom that this happened?
Oh, gosh. All I could think about was the Coors Canaveral mascot Dinger. On how just the turn of a phrase, just one slight missed letter. One slight missed from a dinger to there's no ing. To that, things go south fast, whether the intention was there or not. If you're downloading Peacock TV and it says, would you like to do it on your phone, which means you'll have to put it in on one of your search engines. Make sure you are a perfect typer. I'm just going to leave that there. My wife was shocked. There were things I didn't want her to know that were that big.
But you didn't cast anything to your screen on accident, right?
No, I panicked. I threw the phone. I started burning my hands. And that's when the
CGI,
sound started.
honey.
That's when the sound started. So
the volume was up.
Well, it just went to the page, and I went, holy. My phone got real hot, and I put it down, and that was not how I ended up doing it. So anyway, we digress. I'm just here to help. Maybe
so
Peacock
just be
should change
very,
their login.
very careful when entering the Peacock
and
network
that's in my search
into
history now. I have never once in my life cleared my search history. I've never had any occasion to ever need to do that. Now I do. Because I know how this whole thing works. I'm behind the scenes on how advertisers follow you around and all that. I'm in on this. I'm afraid of what database I am on today that I was not on yesterday.
You've been geofenced.
I've been cordoned off on a team I'm not on. I don't have anything against that team. I'm just on another team. Your advertising is going to be lost on me. All from a simple mistype. Do we have anything to update on the Ben Simmons saga today after the Zach slap yesterday that the Spurs are still a part of the ongoing conversations to get him?
Thank God you didn't try to segue that into something on this. So my question to you is, Rob, how annoying do you think Daryl Morey must be in trade conversations?
I think you and I are on the same path. I think Daryl Morey must be one of the more annoying, data-driven, that's science for you kind of guys. And he will equate to some astronomical fee for something, a cost for something, and he'll give you some kind of formula to justify it. And it'll be above me no matter what he says. So, no, I agree with you. I think dealing with Daryl Morey has got to be difficult because he looks at things in a way that, most talent acquirers and talent dealers like other general managers, they don't look at it the same way as he does.
Well, Neil O'Shea must be really annoyed at him right now because yesterday's report from Zach Lowe was that it seems like Bradley Beal and Dame Lillard are not moving. So thus Ben Simmons, if he's going to be traded, must be traded somewhere else.
Right.
It seems to me, and this is the update from Zach Lowe, that the 76ers have not given up on the pipe dream that is Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons. And that's the update, is that Daryl Morey is holding up the rest of NBA offseason more or less, because this is the last major domino to fall. All the minor deals, once this domino falls, will start to fall as well. There could be 5 or 6 other ones that are on the table, but those teams are waiting to see if they still have Ben Simmons possibility. There is still a snowball's chance in hell that Ben Simmons goes to Portland for Dame Lillard. And I think what Daryl Morey is banking on is every day that becomes more enticing to Portland. So every day he's just going to say, no, this is still my very high price for Ben Simmons. Stop asking, until Neil O'Shea says, stop asking, we're not moving Dame Lillard. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, so y'all want to revisit that Spurs trade, that Kings trade? We're going to have to come down off our price a little bit, I think.
The irony of all this is we know what Daryl Morey is thinking. He's a numbers guy. He looks at the data. Where do you make shots more often than not? Where does the offense function well where does it not? Let's apply those statistical numbers into an offense, and let's max that out. Hence the threes that you see the Houston Rockets begun the trend of just keep shooting. Eventually, threes are better than twos. You'll win. Over time, you will win. When you're dealing with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, the analytics tell everybody it doesn't work, that they both want to take shots in the same place, and neither of them are threes. We know what your style is, Daryl Morey. We know that Ben Simmons does not fit on what you want to do. So you can ask for the world, but we've seen what your style and Ben Simmons, what the outcome of that is, and that's a middle round out in the playoffs. And there's zero reason to expect anything more, right, Carl? Unless there is movement.
On top of that, Ben Simmons has his leg stuck under the bus he was thrown under after the loss.
True.
It seems to me, at least according to reports, if you're to believe these reports, that he's not talking to the 76ers. He must have taken those press conferences personally. And that was a tough loss to the Hawks. If Joel Embiid doesn't have a torn meniscus, you can very clearly tell he can't move backwards. So they were just lobbing it over him. Clint Capella caught so many alley-oops on a backpedaling Joel Embiid that series that any other time, Embiid could have broken that up easily. But big credit to him. He'll never have to buy a beer in Philadelphia. He played on a torn meniscus. So if he's not playing on a torn meniscus, we might not be talking about this. We might be talking about NBA champion Philadelphia 76ers. But if you're trying to
Simmer
max, no, I think that they were that
Simmer
good.
down.
Hey, they
were
could
good.
they could have won a championship the year Kawhi won in Toronto.
Possible.
They
Yeah,
had that. They
I
had
agree.
that Kawhi
But for
bounce.
that miracle. Yeah, but for the Kawhi bounce, I'm not dissuaded. I don't know if a title was off in the offing this year because even though they might have gotten past Atlanta, the same issues remained, and that was your two superstars. Neither will venture outside of the paint.
No, Embiid shoots threes. Embiid,
yeah, well, that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's also a problem.
I agree. I've been mad at Embiid for posting up 15, 16 feet from the basket his whole career. But that's how that goes, I guess. But they do want to get something for Simmons. And if they can get Dame Lillard and they have to wait until 2 weeks before training camp, then yes, it's worth it. But the closer we get to training camp, the more I don't think Dame Lillard's going to move.
It certainly appears that Portland is gunning to keep him around. I would completely agree there. But everybody is immovable, and they haven't really done a whole lot to make him happy. We talked about his performance in the Olympics, and it seemed like while he was trying, his eyes were on Portland in the free agent search, and not a lot of stuff happened for Portland right then. So the idea of him moving, I don't think they want to. I think they'd rather do some other things, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this deal eventually happen because I know that Daryl Morey knows. He's a smart enough man to know that this system will not work. And then you brought up something that I think is absolutely valuable, that Doc Rivers evidently just doesn't like Ben Simmons.
He doesn't even use him in pick and rolls as a ball handler. It's so annoying.
Doesn't like what he does, or that lack of a jump shot is taking away everything that Doc Rivers believes that an offense should do. And if he takes that away, we all see it. We all know you can't have him. You can't just go ask for the world and expect people to pay it. We'll wait till the deadline. As Jerry Jones is apt to say, deadlines make deals. And I still think the Spurs are sitting back with a bunch of pieces and parts, lots of guys that can help several other teams, and 17 guys under contract or soon will be, that they're going to have to make a move one way or another, and we're going to continue to be a player in that. But they're just going to wait till the dust to settle, maybe after the league goes away from the summer and everybody gets a little quiet for a couple of days. Then we'll see if the Spurs really work in the shadows as they've been apt to do. But it just feels like that Ben is gone and that Portland is trying to hold on to Dame as long as they can. Did we hear anything about Lauri Markkanen yesterday?
No.
With all the signings, nothing happened there, right?
Yeah, and what happens to him is this offseason's biggest mystery because he seems intent to not sign an offer sheet. I don't think there's any offer sheets left to be had out there. Nobody wants to meet the Bulls' high price for what it would take to get him in a sign and trade. And if he accepts the qualifying offer, he's going to be in that very stacked roster, probably as a bench role, and he'll miss out on money there too, because once Vucevic came over in the trade, he ended up on the bench mainly because Vucevic made him irrelevant in the starting lineup.
They also drafted his replacement above and beyond that. When we come back, let's talk Spurs. Tom Petrini is in Las Vegas. He's Ken's Five's digital god, and we will have him here on the halftime. Hang around with us. This is San Antonio Sports Star, 1250 ESPN and 94.5 FM. Here
we go. The Dallas Cowboys live here all season long. Every snap.
I love it.
Every catch.
Let's go have a day, huh?
Every touchdown. Plus, we'll give you the complete breakdown and preview of every game from our experts. Dallas Cowboys insiders and head coach Mike McCarthy. We're all fans.
Yeah! Yeah!
Hear the call from Brad Sham and the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Yeah! Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
If your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, get them fixed. Hi, Jason Minix here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. They're a mobile brake shop. That means they come to you to fix your brakes. We're all busy. None of us have time to go spend hours waiting at a repair shop or want to deal with the hassle of dropping your car off and going back to get it the next day. That is the beauty of New Brakes. They come to you. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs, and they only fix brakes, so you won't get the upsells like at a traditional repair shop. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. They use premium brake parts and back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go to nubrakes.com. Schedule that repair. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio. You need your brakes done? Get them done with New Brakes. You continue to do what you do while New Brakes fixes your brakes, and they're great at what they do. Go read all the 5-star reviews and schedule your repair at nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
Hi, welcome to Smoky Moe's.
At Smoky Moe's Barbecue, we smoke our meats fresh, in-house, each and every day. We think it makes all the difference in the quality of our moist, flavorful brisket and turkey, and the mouth-watering tenderness of our ribs and pork loin. Got a crowd? We've got group packs and full-service catering. Up early? We've got made-to-order breakfast tacos. Find your store at SmokyMoe'sBarbecue.com and come see us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Smoky Moe's Barbecue. The pit is lit.
Staples Connect has everything you need for back to school at amazing prices. Right now, save $55 on the TI-84 Plus CE graphing calculator. It's just $99.99, our lowest price of the season. With savings like that, your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be first day of school pop quiz ready.
It's showtime.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back to school today and get more than ready for back to school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Ends 8/14. Limit 2 per customer. In store only.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-646-9595. That's 1-800-646-9595. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-646-9595.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
El Wedo's Automotive Paint provides quality coatings and selection of paint supplies for your automotive finishing needs. El Wedo can match any color for that specific work you're doing. And if you own a car painting or body shop business, you have to compare prices with El Wedo's paint supply to start saving today. Come check us out at El Wedo's Automotive Paint for quality coatings and a great selection of auto painting needs. Located at 3108 West Avenue. Call us at 210-749-3116. 210-749-3116. Check us out on Facebook or Google at El Wedo's Automotive Paint.
This is the home of the Cowboys, Rangers, and Aggie football. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Rob Thompson, Carl Schoening. Halftime.
It's the second half of halftime. You're tuned to San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. James Pledger on the other side of the glass. Has the station on cruise control back there.
Is that what that's called?
I'm pretty sure. Looks like he looks like he's just turning the wheel. The miles per hour stays the same.
This is like a Tesla, man. I just got let it do its thing, and if it explodes into a fiery mess, then so be it.
That's not on you. No, I wouldn't blame you. I'm back there too. I've never exactly seen what the fiery mess might be. It's a tough start
give
to
it time.
Give it time.
Give it time.
It hasn't actually gotten literally on fire, but if it ever does, I'm calling you first.
I mean, that you've seen.
That's true. That's true. You have a lot more experience back there than me.
There's a reason we keep a fire extinguisher back here.
We do?
right.
Oh, I need to know where
There's
that is.
2 panes of glass and an entirely different vent system because of that room.
You know, Rob, it's a tough start for the Summer Spurs right now. They're 0-2. You know what helps when you're 0-2? Playing another 0-2 team.
There you go.
Like they got coming up at 2. 2s are wild right now in Las Vegas. And very happy to be joined by one of the dons, maybe the don of Spurs Twitter. I believe that's what he calls himself, or used to call himself. Working for Kins 5 now, the host of the Big Fun Pod, doing digital stuff for Kins as well. Tom Petrini. Tom, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you. How long have you been in Vegas now?
Oh, God. Time moves different here. I'm not really sure. First started playing. So whatever day that was. And I'm going to this game today, and I'm heading out right to the airport, straight from the arena pretty much. So it's been a lovely trip. I'm excited to see 3 games here. That's pretty happy for me.
He is Tom Petrini at Kins 5, the digital god, the host of the Big Fun podcast, and about to exit the Vegas land. You know, in your time there, walking between the different arenas and watching the Spurs in particularly, well, what's the team's attitude about? I know that everybody's out looking for a job, whether it be in silver and black or something else, but is there a theme to this summer? Are they trying to do something in particular, or is it everybody just trying to make the team and look more and more like a Spur?
Well, I think that when you look at the 2 most recent draft classes for the Spurs, Devin Vassell and Trey Jones, sophomores here, you know, they were, I mean, Devin was a 19-year-old rookie last year, and here he is asked to be, you know, a leader on this team in more ways than one, you know, shot creation and being a vocal leader for his teammates. So I think the theme here with Summer League always is growth, right? And so, you know, you mentioned the 0-2 start here. They lost, I believe, the first 3 games in Utah, right? So 0-5 Summer Spurs team, but who cares about the results? I'm not one of the people who's going to be, you know, looking at the wins and losses here. It's really about what these guys are doing on the court. And we've seen a lot of really good, you know, shot creation flashes from Josh Primo and Devin Vassell. Shots haven't really been falling, but it's cool to see them expand on that part of their game where last year at their respective teams and their respective roles, they weren't really asked to do that. So for them to have this opportunity to, you know, not just sit in the corner and wait for a pass to come, but, you know, hey, get out there, run pick and roll, make some decisions, mess up a little bit. It's whatever. It's Summer League. It's been really cool to see. And then I've got to say Trey Jones, a couple of sloppy turnovers in the 2 first quarters of the games that he's played, but it's aggression on both ends of the floor. He's driving to the rim really well, creating for himself and others. He's got a crazy finishing package. He's not the like tallest or most athletic, but he finishes with such craft at the rim that they've got to send multiple guys at him, and they've got to sag off him a little bit. And he's been expanding his game a little bit and shooting those shots a little more, something we didn't see too much last year.
Is Tom Petrini at Kins 5 joining us here on the halftime?
Tom, I know this is probably more fun than just the games on the court. And outside of the normal Vegas things, what's the most fun part about the Vegas Summer League? Because you're actually doing one of my bucket list items, and I have Rob as well. If you could give me your maybe 2 things that are the most exciting part of being a media member at the Vegas Summer League, what would they be?
It really doesn't even matter if you're a media member, because if you're in this building, you're surrounded by people who absolutely love and live and breathe basketball. You know, fans, whether you're in the media, the team side, you never know who you're going to run into, but you can bet that they love basketball. And so that's one of the most fun things for me coming out here. This is my second time here doing this, and I want to be out here every year, man. It's just a lovely event. And really, like, you've got all 30 teams. You've got the guys who were just drafted, some of them, you know, top 5 picks who are really, really exciting, playing against each other in these, you know, marquee games. And I think if you had to put money on it, and, say, where's the best collection of basketball people in the entire world at any given date in the year, it's probably right here, right now, every year. So,
no question.
You never know who you're going to bump into. And like in between the arenas, if the team's playing at the Cox Pavilion, you might run into one of the players like at the urinal in full uniform, like right before he's about to go play, So you never know who you're going to see, and that's a really exciting part of it.
So who's the coolest person you've met here the last few days?
Let's see. I met Sean Hyken of Bleacher Report.
Gotcha.
I just saw him outside my hotel. Really good guy. He was thinking about coming to San Antonio for a bit, so we talked about that. And I mean, like we saw David Robinson across the court at one of these games. DeJounte, Keldon are here. Becky Hammond is here. And I will say the game that I like to play here is Who's That Incredibly Tall Man? And it's gotten a lot harder with the masks, but understand why that has to be the case. It's fun, man. I bumped into Mitch Johnson, saw him, said, hey.
I want to talk about him. Tom Petrini, let's talk about Mitch Johnson real quick. He's working the sidelines, being the Summer League coach. What kind of coach is he? Is he vocal? It's hard to tell with the masks on. Is he yelling at the players? Is he kind of calm and reserved and gets at him in the huddle? Does he let his bench get to work? What's Mitch like as a young coach?
Yeah, so I've been trying to sit as close as I can to that Spurs bench and, gather intel on these sort of things. Mm-hmm. And everything that I've observed about Mitch so far, he's focused. He's probably a little intense during the game. Mm-hmm. But his players have said that they really appreciate the way that he helps them improve, right? And that makes him a really great fit for this Summer League team because it's all about improvement. And he's the guy that, Devin said, if he messed something up, he wasn't just going to yell at him about it. He was going to, be calm and show him the right way to do it. So I really like his approach in that regard. He's been pretty open in his media availabilities about,
it seems that way,
how they see these players. So yeah, I'm obviously very happy for him getting this chance to act as head coach.
Yeah. With the absence of Hardy and Becky, still kind of a nebulous future there. He's in a unique position here. This could be something long-term for him, and working the sidelines is a good gig for him. Let's talk about the guys he's coaching real quick. Now, you brought up Vassell, certainly, and we've talked about Primo as well, but there are the guys that everybody's having to look up on the internet to find the roster and the numbers that we want to talk about. And one I think a lot of people were surprised by was Malik Newman's play the other day. Now, he was certainly a bit of a surprise and certainly not a position of need for the Spurs, but has he played himself into a training camp invite with the Spurs? Because he certainly played himself into an invite with somebody.
Right. Yeah, he's one of the players here because, not drafted by anybody, and he's here just trying to show what he's got. And that's something that Joe Wieskamp said. Everybody's trying to get a job somewhere. You're either trying to get promoted in your own organization or find a home. And yeah, he's been a really smooth shooter, combo guard who can do a little bit of everything, looks comfortable with the ball in his hands, pulling up from three. And so, I mean, he had a really crazy game in the last one and hit some really big shots. I think he had 19 points in that game. With guys who were just drafted. So really, really impressive stuff from him.
Tom Petrini from Kins 5 joins us here on Halftime. And Tom, before we let you go, I know we got Keldon Johnson's presser that we're getting to. If you could, where the Spurs are in the offseason right now, they have 17 players on the roster. We have it pretty much constructed the way it's going to be. How would you finish out the offseason? Because something has to be done. And if you could maybe dream up the perfect end of the offseason, what would it be? Realistically, even though you're dreaming.
Well, before the DeRozan trade was finalized, I was thinking about options that would have sent Thad Young to Phoenix and maybe taken back some guys. Like you said, 17 on the roster now. So some decisions are going to need to be made. If they move on from Al-Farouq Aminu, it would be a little expensive, I think, and it would be, he's a trade chip, essentially. Like, he could be, because he has that expiring contract, he could be packaged with other assets to accomplish a trade. So it's definitely interesting, the group that the Spurs have assembled here. And it seems like they've positioned themselves to maybe make another trade before the season or, perhaps before the deadline this year. But yeah, getting the roster down to 15, Wieskamp's probably going to be on a two-way. But yeah, like I would hate to see Drew Eubanks go. He's been great here. He's been a guy who's been talked about as, if they have to move on from somebody, it might be him. I hope that's not the case. But I'm sure that the people in that front office are working really hard on how to make the most out of their assets here. But just as far as accumulating assets went for the Spurs this offseason, you got to take your hat off to Brian Wright. I mean, they were able to get a bunch of players who are going to help and a bunch of assets that can be moved.
Tom Petrini joining us here on the halftime as we look at the Spurs in this summer league. Catch his stuff at Ken's 5, the Digital God. Big fun podcast as well. As we go through, you brought it up. The Spurs haven't won a single damn game in any of these things. And obviously winning isn't the reason you're there. You are there, as you said. These guys are trying to get a job. We brought up Newman. I thought Renfro has played very well. You talked about Trey Jones as well. Is there anybody else that you've seen, a name or a player that you go, this guy might have enough to earn something and take away something from somebody that we know of? Is there a player that you've seen?
Not in terms of cracking the Spurs rotation. Another guy who I thought was really impressive in the Bulls game was, I think it was Jalen Morris. He shot 8 of 11 from the floor. Really good three-point shooter, too. But, again, not a position of need, so I don't see him making inroads that would, impact playing time for the Spurs.
So this is just he's performing for elsewhere. I know that Justin Robinson's on the team. We haven't seen him play. Any thoughts on him?
I mean, there's not much to think about so far, just because we haven't seen him play. I know that it's got to be a really cool experience for him being here. His dad's here. He's wearing 50 for the Spurs. Hopefully we get to see him in these last couple of games here. And after Devin Vassell dealt with the hamstring issue, was pulled from that game, we're not sure if he's going to play again. Because the Spurs are just very cautious about that sort of thing, as they should be. So, there may be opportunities later in this summer league. Would feel weird if he didn't get at least a couple minutes to go out there, bounce the ball around a little bit. But, what a cool story for him to just be here. I mean,
absolutely.
And the guys have talked about how cool it is to see not just Dave, but, like we said before, Keldon, DeJounte here supporting it. And they've played in these gyms, right? Trying to prove themselves not too long ago. Keldon was here 2 years ago, and he's back with a 1.2-pound gold medal around his neck. It's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty cool path for these younger Spurs to look up to a kid who's just 21 years old and say, I could do something like that.
Well, he's here and don't forget his brother's here. He's here to cheer on his brother Caleb, who's on the roster out of Georgetown as well. Tom, man, we thank you for stopping by. Enjoy your day and have a safe flight. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Good to see you.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom Petrini joining us here on the halftime out in Las Vegas, covering the summer league game. He had to head over. Keldon Johnson's going to have a presser, I guess, just to brag about his gold medal to kind of open things up. And the Spurs getting ready to play at 2 o'clock. Tom Petrina joins us. You missed any of that, we'll have it up in our audio vault, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds there at sasportstar.com to make sure you're fully informed. And let's do that. Let's get everybody informed. One of the things we want to make sure you is completely aware of the sporting world and maybe some of the headlines that have slipped through. It's time for Carl's Countdown.
Headline 2, it is the Field of Dreams game tonight. It'll be inspired by the 1989 film. The MLB makes its debut in Iowa. I don't know if you've been seeing this, Rob, but they've turned the Field of Dreams into a semi-professional ballpark, which is kind of cool. It's my dad's favorite film, so I might have to tune in to watch some of this.
You want to have a catch? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, what an extraordinary... The pictures are perfect. I know they've tried to do this last year, and COVID kind of shut that down, but I'm so excited about this. I think this is as good as the outdoor NHL game that they have every year, which is almost must-see because of the environment. This is a great thing for baseball, something that needed to be done before this. I can't wait to tune in. It's going to be cool.
A side note from that story, there are Iowa fans petitioning the MLB because apparently there are 5 or 7 teams in Iowa that are blacked out on their extra innings package. And there's no teams in Iowa, so it doesn't really make sense. It's the Chicago teams and so on.
Right.
So part of the week leading up to it is there's a big billboard asking Bud Selig to take away those blackouts in Iowa for those fans.
I can identify. It's hard for me to even find Spurs games. So, yes, open the blackout. It doesn't affect ticket sales at all.
All right, headline 1. Baltimore Orioles slugger Crush Davis announces his retirement after 13 years in Major League Baseball. And I guess he just sees the writing on the wall here. August 12th, we're not even to September baseball, and he just wants people to know, you can go ahead and give me my farewell tour a couple weeks in before they get rolling at the end of the season.
Crash Davis?
Crush.
Wasn't Crash the name of the Birmingham Baron all-time minor league player from the other baseball movie that everybody's seen? Wasn't it Crash Davis?
Oh,
I could be wrong. Bull Durham. We'll check that. That's 2 baseball movie references in a matter of 5 minutes. You don't get that everywhere else. Congratulations on a career well played, Oriole. I'm moving along.
And headline 0. Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew are still battling for the Jacksonville Jaguars starting quarterback position, according to Urban Meyer, who will not name a starting quarterback. Do you think there's any way that Mustache Minshew will be starting week 1?
Tim Tebow's got a better shot at starting than Gardner Minshew. Of course. I want Jacksonville to be better. I think that they just need to be better, but I certainly want to see Urban Meyer get his ass handed to him.
You just want to see Jacksonville go down in flames because of all this, huh?
I really don't. I'm a fan of Trevor. I think that to grow up in the spotlight that he's grown up in and to be as successful and it seems to be as grounded as he is, that's an accomplishment unto himself. And he is a truly generational quarterback. I don't have any doubt in his skill. I think he's going to be good. It's just the arrogance that Urban Meyer just walks around with. Sometimes you just want to – I want to see him get beaten pretty good. But name your starter. Don't name your starter. I don't care. Maybe Minshew will keep happy.
So I should have asked Michael Jimenez this question, but I'll ask you. How early is too early to draft Tim Tebow in fantasy drafts? I'm thinking 3rd, 4th round.
Well, it's in your typical fantasy football draft, it goes, you'll slot guys by round, but it's always about the run, isn't it? When the first quarterback gets drafted, the run begins because everybody's afraid. So, yeah, I would draft either one of those guys. It would be my quarterback 2, maybe 3. I have zero trust in rookie quarterbacks. There's enough guys that go around that can throw for more yards, I would think. Although, this modern league, rookies have fared better, but I wouldn't take him early. No, he's a late rounder for me, 8th, 9th round, however deep we're going, depending on how deep my league is.
Well, those are the headlines in Carl's Countdown. And, yeah, Trevor Lawrence seems to me, I haven't played fantasy in a couple of years, so this will have to be a year where I really look at everything and break it down because fantasy players explode in 2 years, and they also die down in 2 years. So anybody that I maybe had on my team 2 years ago, they might just be worthless picks if I take them anywhere in the draft.
I'm so glad you're in our league. I'll just leave it at that.
Hey, I'm pretty good at fantasy. When I did play, I've been top 3 finishes most of the time, but it's sort of just gotten crazy mind games trying to figure out. I don't see why. What is the point? I'll have to ask Michael Jimenez this later, of being in 5 different leagues. That's insane. There's just no way to have any kind of. You're going to be bad in at least one of those. You're going to have to be frustrated about one team.
It's to prove that yours is the size of the accidental download that Rob accidentally pulled down.
It is. I will tell you, I'm in leagues for different reasons. There's some leagues I'm in it to win it because there's guys that I enjoy competing against. There's other leagues I'm in that I'm only in to keep up with my friends. Yeah, I have a passing interest. I want to beat them, but really it's an opportunity to get back together with people that I only talk to during fantasy football season. So, yeah, I'm in 4 or 5 leagues. There are precedents, though. There's the one that I care about, then the next league behind that, and then by the time you get to the end, I hope I've made my lineups for some of those leagues. But it's a chance to catch up with people, and I think the older you get, like me, it's just another reason to get out of the house, go to another draft.
I do regret that. A couple of years into it, I realized I don't talk to these people the same way I used to, and that's probably on me. As you hit 30, everybody starts to do their own thing and get caught up in the daily grind of life. And I do wish that I hadn't dropped out of a couple leagues from high school and college friends that I had going.
There's a fantasy football league I'm involved with that's been playing since 1994.
Before the internet? They played fantasy
football before the internet was an adventure, and it's the very reason why I'm in radio. It's a story that really goes on too long. We'll talk about fantasy football as the season goes on. Don't forget the fantasy gods are going to be on Sunday. When we come back, we're going to look heavily at the games tonight. The Eagles taking on the Steelers, and we also have the Cowboys and the Cardinals tomorrow night. We'll get you caught up with the Patriots as well as they take on the football team. College football coming up, but we got pro tonight. Let's look forward to a good evening at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. We're going to be out there tonight. The entirety of the San Antonio Sports Star will be out there. Unfortunately, I won't, but everybody else will be out there. The broadcast starts at 4. Now, Jason, we've talked a lot about the Spurs with Tom Petrini. The Spurs number 1 draft pick, Josh Prino, signed his contract yesterday. His agent, what's his agent's name, Carl?
Todd.
I want to make sure
and I want to say, apologize in advance if I'm saying it wrong, but Todd Ramasar. I'm looking forward to hearing from him. He works with Life Sports Agency, and they did a great job on draft night for Josh Primo documenting everything.
From what I've heard, there's a great story behind Primo and how he got to where he is, the young kid that he is, the youngest drafted into the NBA, coming out of Canada, the Toronto region, and finding his way down to Alabama through the SEC on to San Antonio. So Jason Minix will get some backstory on Josh Primo. It's must-listen time, but it's must-visit time. Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar, the Medical Center. We're starting at 4, but the party will go all on evening long. There'll be games of fun, games of strength, and games to drink. We're going to do it all there. This is the halftime. You're on San Antonio's Sports Star, 1250 AM and 94.5. I said it again. This is halftime.
Thank you.
I leave the building, and the program director forgets everything he's supposed to know. I get the permanent turnover chain when I return. I'll wear it for a whole show. I earn it. You're on halftime. And this is San Antonio Sports Star, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM.
Football in America is a special game, a unique game played like nowhere else on earth. It's a rare game, and the men that play it make it so. Prescott, Elliott, Cooper, and Coach Mike McCarthy. And today these men walk the gridiron with one thing in common, with one mission between them: winning. The Dallas Cowboys play here on the home of the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Thanks to fans like you, you can now buy Kielbasa products just about everywhere. We hope you continue to enjoy our handcrafted, small batch smoked meats because we sure enjoy making them for you. So grab some today and let me know what you think. My number's on the back of every pack. Right by my promise that if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Find kielbasa at a store near you today.
Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. Slackers is your home to 7 days a week happy hour, and they now start at noon every day. And by popular request, Slackers brings back their signature frozen drinks. Visit slackersbarsa.com for more info.
What's up? This is Riley. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the applewood bacon. It's savory, and then it's also kind of sweet. And I think the combination of bacon with chicken and Colby Jack cheese, it just really knocks it out of the park.
Hey, I'm Tanea. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the chicken. It's so juicy. It's grilled to perfection. I'm going to devour this sandwich.
Order the Grilled Chicken Club sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Rob Thompson and Carl Schoening on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Halftime. Sports Star. Carl Schoening. Rob Thompson. James Pledger. Economy of words. Welcome aboard. The Hunters Extravaganza is next week. It's one of my favorite events of the year. It's one of those signpost events in San Antonio. When the Extravaganza comes to town, the hunting is not far behind. Cooler weather and football. Well, if you're a big hunter or you're just getting into the game, there's no better place to go to than the Hunters Extravaganza. I like to say if they don't have it, you do not need it to go hunt and enjoy your outdoors. It'll be going on the 20th through the 22nd down at Joe Freeman. You can go check out huntersextravaganza.com, their website, to get tickets. If you don't win them right now, you can win them, and we will mail them to you if you will promptly dial 656-3776. That's 656 ESPN to you and me. That's the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. Let's get them full. First guy that gets on there, well, I want to talk to real quick. I want to see if somebody's chasing a box 8, a muley tine, what their favorite thing to go after, and if there's anything specific they need to add to their hunting collection, maybe a ghillie suit, maybe some new snake boots. You know, what are you looking for, Carl, to add to your hunter's collection?
I have never gone hunting.
Oh. Would you ever decide to? Would you ever go hunting without a gun? Maybe just a camera.
A camera? Oh, I could do camera stuff. Shooting. Yeah. That kind of shooting is fine. I can do pictures and stuff. I'd prefer that probably. I'm not really interested in killing.
I certainly understand. I certainly understand those that don't want to pull a trigger, but that's only part of the hunting experience. It's the toys. It's the camaraderie. It's the outdoorsiness. And I'll tell you, Hunters Extravaganza, boy, bring your checkbook. Bring your wallet, bring it, because they've got it. Let's go to the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. Andrew, welcome aboard, man. You a hunter? I guess not. I guess he's decided to move on to greener pastures. Well,
did I offend him?
Anybody up? You probably did.
by saying that. I understand hunters, and
your veganism offended him, and he hung up.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's a fair guess. I understand that.
Dallas Cowboys heading to the heading to the Arizona regions to take on the Kyler Murrays and the Cardinals tomorrow night. As we get closer and closer to the game, we know full well that there will be no Dak Prescott. So I think this over the next couple of weekends, Carl, this is really going to be zeroing in on the offensive and defensive lines. It's time to see what Randy Gregory has to offer after these years of promise. Let's see what a full-time gig and full-time coaching will do. I want to see what the defensive line could do and to kind of slow down the Kyler who's going to go from corner to corner, at least that idea. And then the cornerbacks, and the defensive backs, there's no better wide receiver out there to test your skills if D-Hop does get on there. What are you looking to see from the Cowboys? What's the biggest thing you need to see as they get closer and closer to Tampa Bay here in about a month?
I obviously agree with you that I would like to see some battles in the trenches, but former football player Dan Neal played for the Longhorns, played for the Broncos in Denver. He always, whenever I would hear him talk about preseason football, said that the trenches are such a difficult thing when the real games happen that preseason is brother-in-law football. There's some pushing, there's some shoving, but it's not real in the trenches. You should determine that's how they get graded. And I think that's fair, especially because you don't want to see those injuries on the quarterback or the running back week one. So it's a little – I don't feel like I can grade any offense or defensive line in the preseason. But you got to see something out of the Cowboys defense because they're coming out there with a chip on their shoulder when week one does start because of how they played last year. And if they don't turn something around, that's people's jobs. They already did a whole revamp of the defense. They might need to do it again if they can't show improvement.
Dan Quinn showed us what he was planning to do, and I'll tell you what, Micah Parsons filled that bill. It looked like he was sideline to sideline attacking the ball to the extent, didn't we hear Leighton Vander Esch talking to him in practice like, dude, you can't make every play.
Yeah.
Just try to make the plays you're supposed to make. I'll tell you what, if I hear that from a rookie, that excites my soul. This guy is eager to make a sin of commission over omission. Let's go to the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. We're trying to give away some tickets to the Hunters Extravaganza coming up at Joe Freeman next week. Vince, welcome on to halftime. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, Rob?
Good. You been to the Extravaganza before?
I've been to the 4. Yeah, I haven't been in the past few years, but I've been 4.
You down with the snake pen? You see the rattlesnakes?
Yeah, I see the rattlesnakes. I kind of stay away from them a little bit, though. But yeah,
if you win, I'm about to give you the tickets. Will you promise to take a selfie with the rattlesnakes in the background and post it up on the SA Sports Star on our Twitter feed?
I will. I'll do that. Yes, sir.
All right, Vince. Congratulations, man. We got a winner. A pair of tickets to Hunters Extravaganza, and we got a selfie in front of snakes. You don't get better than that. Hold on tight, Vince. Let Pledge get all your information. We're going to mail you those tickets. Hunters Extravaganza is going to be at Joe Freeman Coliseum the 20th through the 22nd. It's a good time. It'll be all you want as it's hunting season is just about here. Congratulations, Vince. We're glad you're going. I can't wait to head out there myself. Spurs are getting ready to play here in about 23 minutes. So they're taking on the Carolinas. Do we need a Spurs win?
No.
Seriously, there's no need to just say, go win the game. I don't care who's on the last 5 minutes, win a game to give yourself some self-respect.
I am going to guess that Josh Primo probably won't be playing today. I don't think he signed his contract yesterday and immediately went back to Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not playing at all the rest of the Summer League. Same with Devin Vassell. And if you're missing those guys that are actually going to be on the roster, those are hard games to win. Especially when you're going up against first-round picks and second-round picks that are trying to get their reps in, similar to how you would be. But the hamstring injury with Vassell, a month away from training camp, Josh Primo, he could use the seasoning, but I understand letting him just be in San Antonio and start working out with the team in San Antonio with the coaching staff that's now back from Tokyo. He gets to work with some Chip England, make a good shooter even better. I think that it's best for Primo if he doesn't go back. But if he wants to go back and get some run, they play through Monday and they have the tournament.
The play of Trey Jones I've found extraordinary. Even Tom Petrini, who, by the way, was just with us here on halftime. If you missed him, he of Ken's 5. He's the digital god over there. Has been in Vegas watching the Spurs play their previous 3 games, plus the couple that they played in Salt Lake. He highlighted him. I think that Trey Jones has looked exactly like a one-year vet of the NBA should. And Petrini brought up something that I think is worthy of discussion. What has kept him off the floor is his lack of offense. I mean, you cannot be a point guard and play for Duke and get championships and come of that lineage without being a great baller. It's just he didn't provide the offense. And what he has added to his game and improved upon greatly is finishing at the rim. He's cagey. He's quick. You can't get to it. And if he can do that, he's earning minutes right now that he'll get to play with in November, December.
Exactly. He's almost the forgotten guy in this whole rotation. He had Josh Primo in because he's a 12th pick, nice and flashy, but you get into DeJounte Murray and Derek White, that backup point guard role is going to be one of the more competitive positions for the Spurs. Who's going to be there? Mm-hmm. Is Derek White willing to, and by my estimations, he will, be a backup sort of Manu Ginobili role to be the engine that makes the second unit go? And if not, then Bryn, Trey, Primo, Lonnie Walker, they all probably compete for those Patty Mills minutes that are going to be up for grabs.
Pop has always had a second unit, a bomb squad, as if it were, to run, close out the quarters, to give 8 minutes of spell. Normally it's been, Patty has been a part of that pretty much since he arrived. Can you see Trey on that unit? Does he offer enough offense, or do you see him being kind of like a 1A, and a 2? And the 1A, he comes in and he spells the starter, but he's not getting those bomb squad minutes. That's that unit that comes in, with 8 minutes done in the quarter, another, quick 4 or 5 through. Do you see him making that, or is that really going to be the purview of Bryn Forbes and Jock and the likes of the offensive types, whether it's Lonnie Walker or whoever else isn't in that starting lineup?
Well, that one in the second unit is probably going to be Lonnie Walker. If it's not Derek White. If Derek starts, then Devin Vassell is probably going to be on the wing. And then who's the backup 3 there? Do you move Lonnie to the 2 and Vassell to the 3 and start Trey Jones at the 1? There's so much that the Spurs can do with this roster. And everybody, I can't harp on this enough, is going into a role they have never really played before. So there's going to be a lot to figure out. And this might, unlike the NFL, this preseason might be the most important preseason in Spurs franchise history. You got to figure out what's going. Yeah, I see you giving me the look, Pudge. So you just got to figure out what you're rolling out there. Is Jock Landale going to be able to play NBA minutes? When does Zach Collins get healthy? Thaddeus Young could be the starting 4. He could be the 4 off of the bench. That's probably your most consistent guy going from one role to the next. Thaddeus Young being the elder statesman that'll get it done. He might be your starter, he might be your bench, but he knows what role he's going to play. Everybody else, it's up for grabs on what role you want to play.
As it stands, he's the stretch 5. He's the mobile 4 that can play a little bit of post and do a little bit of rebounding and start a fast break. If they don't move him for a starter, I can't see a world where Thaddeus is not a starter. It's strange that I look at the rest of that offense and I figure, well, Keldon's probably going to start. I can't imagine where he won't. And I think DeJounte or Derek, one of those guys is going to start. And the other one that I'm pretty comfortable as a starter is a guy that I'm not even sure will be on the roster, and Thaddeus Young, but he has certainly been a starter for the last 8 years. And what I've seen him describe as like Thagic Johnson, I think is a term that I use. He does have a little bit of pass in him. I liked him, but I'm not sure if he's even going to be on the roster. You're right. Lots of questions to be asked.
What's the old adage? Follow the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does Vegas have San Antonio set at this year?
28.5 wins. That's the over-under.
I would look at where the money's going, but usually Vegas knows, right?
Oh,
Vegas encourages gambling. They don't know.
Well, they know. They know. Line makes some sense, but
They're
they
not
also
there
have
to
to
lose
take into
money.
account by the Spurs moves. The Spurs have told the rest of the world that next year is not about anything but improvement. They told the rest of the world we're not getting any older. We might trade for a couple of pieces and parts that might be on this roster for a year, maybe two, but our intent is to grow the talent. And next year is just the next year in that process. So Vegas sees that. Pop can fall ass backwards into 35 wins. I don't think anybody questions that, whether you're a book sitting on one side of Vegas or one sitting at DraftKings. Pop can manufacture those wins. They're taking into account what the Spurs have told the rest of the world. Like, look, we're in it for another draft pick. It's going to be a crazy deep draft next year, and maybe we can pull a couple of more bits of talent, and at the same time, get Pop his record and keep ourselves at least in the playoff hunt, because that little playoff play-in tournament, that helped us. We learned a little bit about ourselves there, so I think they'd like to be right back there again.
And as somebody who is on Twitter way too much, I can tell you that Spurs fans want to bet the over. Everybody else wants to bet the under on the Spurs. So it's up to the Spurs to prove them wrong, and I'd like for them to do it by the month of February.
Or, you win 23 games and you guarantee Pop comes back for yet another year as coach.
Hey,
it's halftime. Yeah,
I will say this real quick before we go. Zach Collins mentioned that playing for Pop is one of the biggest deals, so that should, for him, that should quiet down any rumors of maybe Pop not coming back, although I think we might have known, but just something he dropped last night in his Spurs video when he signed with the contract officially.
So you think that there was a promise made that at least for a year, maybe two, or a year and a half, as long as you're fully under contract, I will be here.
At least next year. I think that's something you ask as a free agent. Is Pop coming back next year? And he said that in his interview with Spurs staffers, that he's excited to play for Pop. So anybody that maybe was a little nervous that Pop is going to just drop a press release, hey, I'm retired. Nope, doesn't seem like it's going to happen, at least this year.
Halftime, you're on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Dallas Cowboys travel to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals in preseason action.
Let's go!
Tomorrow night, coverage starts at 8
I love it!
On San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
A mixed bag of an evening for Texas professional baseball teams. The Astros stayed hot and took Game 2 of their series against the Rockies 5-1. Framber Valdez got the win for Houston, pitching 6 innings while only giving up 4 hits and the single run the Rockies scored. The Rangers dropped the second game of their series in Seattle 2-1. The game was tied at 1 going into the bottom of the ninth, but clutch hitting from the Mariners, starting with a double from Jared Kelenic, followed by a single by Luis Torrens to bring Kelenic across the plate into the game. And the San Antonio Missions bounced back in Game 2 of their series against the Rockhounds to win in Midland last night 13-4. Adrian Martinez picked up the win for San Antonio. Those are your baseball headlines. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
and Doug. And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb. All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs. Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow.
Here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code SKY, S-K-Y, for this amazing special.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/joy. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game and a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you looking for a job where you can have tons of fun and make great money? Twin Peaks is the team for you. We're looking for Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Text WORK 4TP to 85000 to apply. That's WORK, the number 4TP to 85000 to apply.
We all like things to be easy and convenient, and New Brakes has done that with brake repair. Jason Minix here for New Brakes, a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. New Brakes uses premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Busy at work or relaxing at the house, you continue to do what you do while New Brakes fixes your brakes. Go read all their 5-star reviews and schedule your repair at nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
The Sunday Sports Grill. Sundays 11 till 1 with Rock the Mic champs Michael Jimenez and Quinn Hudson. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 AM and 94.5 FM.
Watch how the mic explode, hot.
Hey, it's Keyshawn Johnson with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Halftime. Almost done. They're counting us down. Hope we don't get okey dokes. Grab your stuff. Head out to the field. We got a couple of quarters of work to do. We'll get you all the way till 4 o'clock. That's when the Blitz will begin live from Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, the beautiful Medical Center location. Look it up. Go see us. We're celebrating our launch out there. Minix Broadcasts, we party. Come out and hit there. We've got our Olympiad going on. It'll devolve into a drunken squalor, I'm sure, but it'll be fun. Going to be doing some Papa Shot. I'm going to lay some odds here. I think amongst the crew that will be taking the Papa Shot on, I'm going to take Carl as our winner in Papa Shot, the best of the San Antonio Sports Star crew. Carl, you're comfortable in the Papa Shot leading? Can you win this thing?
Before I knew we were doing this, I had done Papa Shot not too long ago, and out of the group of people I was with, I had the highest score. So. But what is it Rudy said? I'll have to think about how I changed my form up, but it's not about form. It's about how many shots you can get off. Quality over quantity is what I do, but he's saying quantity over quality.
Yeah, get buckets.
Go quantity
really
and Papa
curious.
Shot.
I will tell you this. If darts are thrown, Pledger wins. If there's a competition amongst everybody throwing darts, Pledger wins. Do want to remind everybody, go out and have a good time tonight. Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. It is our launch. It is our unveiling. Get a chance to hang out with Rudy and Carl and Minix and Pledge and the whole crew. Unfortunately, I will not be there. I have been contact traced and I am isolating for the good of all. Yes, I am fully vaccinated. I have zero concern for my health, but I'm looking out for others. I'll make sure that I don't, if I am in fact positive, which I am eagerly awaiting that test, that we won't be out there. But in the meantime, you guys have a good time tonight out at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. The Spurs are getting ready to go against those Carolina Jordans at 2 o'clock. We'll see if they can actually go get a win. We don't expect to see Josh Primo, and Devin Vassell is done for the summer. I cannot wait to see Trey Jones and Malik Newman go again. I think that is a tandem that looks a lot of fun. It's good. We're going to see Malik Newman in a uniform next year. I'd like to see him playing up in Austin and getting a little bit more shot. I've watched him play for a long time in high school and into college. I know my co-host in the morning, Rudy J, doesn't like Kansas basketball players. What do you think about Malik Newman there, Carl?
That's a guy that is going to earn himself a training camp invite because of what he's doing right now in Vegas. Somebody's going to see that. And the thing about those training camp invites, everybody wants what's called an Exhibit 10 deal, which means that you're also guaranteed to sign with that team's G League affiliate, and you will get run there. It doesn't mean that you're on their roster, but it shows that we're interested in you. And those Exhibit 10 deals have a little bit more guaranteed money. So it's good for those guys.
Wieskamp, thoughts on what you've seen so far?
Need some seasoning, getting used to the better athletes, the shorter shot clock, the longer three. But there are a lot of improvements that need to be made. However, you can see that he can make those. Now, unlike some guys.
Yeah, he did have a nice, at the beginning of last game, he had a nice pull-up three in rhythm, and it was nothing but net. But you can tell there's some seasoning that needs to be done there. But to be what he is, the all-time leading scorer in Iowa schoolboy history, and to move on and be a legend there at your own university, the alma mater in your state, he's got game. He's got game. I hope we get to see it here in a couple of years. The halftime's about to head on. We want to see everybody out again at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. We're going to be having a fine time tonight. Get there when you like. I can tell you the Blitz will start broadcasting at 4. The taps will be cold. The star will be in the house. You guys have a great evening. Keep yourself safe. We'll talk about it again tomorrow. It's been halftime.
Emotion. There are few places in the broadcast universe where emotion is so sweet.
Nothing in one to count. Here's the pitch. A high fly ball hit out in